Welcome back, everybody,
to another week
of your favorite crypto podcast,
Sometimes Crypto,
the Unscripted
Crypto Podcast.
Ayo.
Missed us? It's been a minute. Scheduling has been tough.
We're back, but the market is not quite back.
The market is
Or
Bitcoin
is
is
it?
back.
Bitcoin is back. It's over
It made a new
$100,000.
all-time high while we were gone.
It did.
Almost.
We were celebrating. That's why we weren't recording.
That's why we're recording. It tickled $112,000.
It did tickle $112,000.
It almost.
Did it go that high?
Yeah, dude.
Jeez, Louise.
I'll tell you the exact number right now.
110,802 is what I see.
So this is on BingX. It tipped $897 and some cents.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at Coinbase right now. It says $111,999.
It tickled $112,000. It tickled it almost.
It did.
It
did. You decided. The market said, "Nah, 112,000. That's not the price for this today," which I think is kind of crazy. But hey, it gives me time to buy some Bitcoin. Still haven't bought Bitcoin at above $100,000 yet.
What a champion!
But depending on how the budget's looking this month, my first 100K plus Bitcoin purchase might take place soon.
Ooh. A lot's happened since we've been gone these last 2 weeks.
Stuff has happened.
What's in the past is in the past. We're moving forward, though.
News moves quickly around here, so we're staying relevant. Forget about it. So what specifically has caught your attention as of late?
Do you want to talk news first, or you want to check on Bitcoin and dominance and USDT dominance and all that fun stuff first?
Let's check the market. And then we'll cover
let's
some
check the
news.
market. Hopefully, we can share today and not suck. So
I think we should be okay.
let's get into it. So this is the Bitcoin on the daily. Let me make my
BTC USDT perpetual contract.
Oh yeah, it's perpetual. Prices differ just slightly. So we were in this long downtrend. We broke out of it in April.
How long were we in the downtrend for?
Quite a while. So from like peak
January
to here, about 88 days, we were in this downtrend.
88 days of pain,
give or take, which we did hit our key support levels on big time frames, like right around here. It's a little high, but it tickled it. The bottom, real close at 618.
It was. Yep.
Bounced up and continued to grind up now. Broke out, did not pull back, did not retest this level, kept breaking, played around here, broke up again, played around, and finally broke to all-time highs. And now it's actually retesting this all-time high area right around here.
Yep. Hopefully we get some support there, some consolidation.
So we're right around here. Our sides are at the bottom. We're in a little downtrend. Not bearish at all long term. It's in a very pretty up momentum point right now.
I'd agree. It looks good.
So if we hold this level and break this new downtrend back up to the upside, we're looking at price discovery again. To the prices we've discussed, $120, $130, $150,000 and upwards. How high we go,
and how fast we get there.
Who knows? The expectation, if we break this downtrend and we do push up, safe move would be what everyone's expecting, which is about $120,000 in the future. If that momentum continues, the rest of just the economy and inflation and interest rates and trades and tariffs all settle down, we can see a push to that 150 region. Obviously, not in a straight line, nowhere near it, but it will push up, pull back a little bit, create a flag, and continue upwards. And this is right now, it's a pretty bullish retest of this. People are expecting a push down to between the 100,000 to like the 97,000s and even 96,000s. So right around.
Really?
Yeah. Also, would still be bullish if we do get to like around here.
Oh yeah, if it drops below 100,000, I don't care what my budget is. I'm buying it.
This is still anything in this like here to here is still bullish. Now, we could go further right around here. It's still bullish. It would be the bottom of this range. The sketchy, where you start to get nervous, is when we start losing the 50-day moving average and the 100 and the 200, which are this red one and this.
Which one's the 50?
One.
Which one's the
50 is orange, 200 is red.
And
this
the white
one is 100. It's the 100-day exponential moving average, which is a little different.
Okay.
But these are all key.
So,
this is a key support area. So this would also be a bullish retest if we hit that level.
So when you say when we lose the 50-day and the 200-day moving average, are you saying that the price goes below the price breaks below it?
The price of Bitcoin goes below these averages.
Okay. Now, I've also heard of indicators of like when the moving averages cross each other. So like if you look,
we just had a golden cross. The 50
so what does that mean? What do we look at?
So it already typically when a golden cross happens or a death cross happens, they already played out. It's just the after effect of it.
Okay.
Because what it means is the 200-day went a certain way, and the 50-day, the orange, crossed above it.
Over the 200-day.
Over the 200-day.
So that means the 50-day average has gone up, and the 200-day just kind of like stayed.
Not necessarily gone up. It just means it crossed it. The 50-day crossed the 200, not the 200-day crossing the 50, which is a death cross. Which, if we look, pushed up, it went up, it crossed around here, which is right around where we peaked. And then after a cross, there is typically a pullback.
Now, I got a question.
What's your question?
So after the golden cross, there's typically a pullback?
Typically, yeah. Benjamin Cowan had posted a tweet. He's a Bitcoin. You can call him Maxine, but he's Bitcoin heavy, Bitcoin dominance heavy, and ETH go home type of guy. ETH BTC.
Okay, so I guess what my question is, with this pullback, then the 50-day moving average will start to move down more significantly compared to the 200-day moving average because less data points, right?
Respectively.
Is there a way to project? So you said that some people are saying that Bitcoin might go down to as low as 97, 96. So if Bitcoin were to go down to 97, is there a way to kind of project how the 200 day moving average and the 50-day moving average were to?
I don't know, because the thing is these are as they happen type of indicators.
Yeah,
and there is no way to project because they're taking data of every single candle and depending on your time frame to really predict it. And you can't predict what price will do where. You can only guesstimate. And there's too many variables in it. Because example,
that's why I thought
if this candle closes here a little higher than this, it already changes that data point, that data set.
That's true. No, that's why I thought. That's why I had to ask because I figured if there was a way to project that, then someone would be checking.
It would already be looking
that specific projection.
But you can't predict what the price will do before it does it. So we're just watching. We're watching this downtrend, either for a break of it or just to continue push down to a really bullish region would be the 97. It has all this support right here and all this market data as support as well. So bullish until proven otherwise. Alts are more of a mess because of Bitcoin dominance. When which happened around here. Bitcoin dominance peaked around that 65%, 65.36% to be exact. Around, beginning of May. Alts skyrocketed because Bitcoin pushed up during this time. And then Bitcoin dominance bounced on very clear support, which is all of this right here. And if you look at it, it literally bounced right where it was. Mind you, this was set beforehand. I pre-charted before that drop and just had it already there. And now, mind you, this was the uptrend that dominance was in. It pushed up now to this resistance zone. Where the reason I put that box there is because I assume, I take a guess that there's a likelihood of rejection here to put the to solidify the fact that we're now gonna push back down because it's rejecting off what used to be an uptrend.
So, would you wait before the bars start moving in up or down from that box? Or do you wait till after to make a trade?
Hand in hand, because
get into a position.
It's up to every token individually to see where they stand. Like if that specific token is on a example to go up, is on a support zone, and this is already starting to reject, then maybe it's a good time just to start looking at it and planning. Okay, if this token breaks out of this downtrend, I will be more than likely looking for a trade at that point. But it's just confluence.
Yeah, because this is
that alt should start to move again because we are rejecting here.
Yeah, move. As in it could go up or down, but not stay around the same price.
Well, ideally move up because whenever Bitcoin dominance comes down, it's typically because there's money leaving money's typically leaving the entire market cap.
Bitcoin.
It's leaving Bitcoin and stable coins into alts.
Or just straight up out of the crypto market.
Not necessarily, because that would still go down, but then you'll see USDT dominance go up, which we'll get there now.
Correct. Okay.
So that's what we're looking like at the moment with Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, there's
back down.
dominance.
So alts should start to.
But Bitcoin is kind of in some resistance right now, isn't it?
Just a downtrend.
Just a little bit. Nothing significant
it's
enough to cause concern for the. Yeah, so nothing to cause concern for the alts in a bloodbath.
Not of right now, no. Unless Bitcoin decides to nuke and the dominance decides
below 96,000, 97,000.
Well, not necessarily. Assume example would be the price of this comes down here in one big candle on in a 1 hour time frame.
Yeah, that's.
And at the same time, you're having this pump back up to these level, then alts are bleeding.
Are bleeding, correct.
Are just bleeding. You'll have this pump and you'll have USDT dominance pump. So this is looking out. Dominance is in a rejection zone now, could push down.
Bitcoin dominance is in
Bitcoin dominance, correct.
Zone.
And if you look at UST dominance, it also peaked near a resistance zone, a peak of 6%, 6.45%. It peaked a little earlier, which is fine. It just means this is a lower high compared to this. It peaked, it broke its uptrend, which has been in for a very long time, and swan dived all the way to the lower end of a potential bounce zone, which also clear as day. Broke the downtrend, pumped up, and now it's making some resistance on the 50 and the 100 exponential moving average. This gets more bullish once it breaks above this, which we don't want. We don't want USDT dominance to push above 4.9%.
You don't want USDT dominance to go above 4.9%?
No, because that means money's leaving the rest of the market back into stablecoins.
And going into stablecoins.
Yeah, so you'd want to see...
And why 4.9%?
Because that's where the moving averages are meeting. And you have this very clear resistance zone now that used to be support. There you can see. Broke above, went down, and bounced again. Broke down, held, and then broke down and losing the level.
I see. So if it goes above that resistance zone,
it makes it more bullish. The USDT dominance, and specifically,
it makes USDT dominance more bullish. Yeah,
meaning it makes the rest of the market more. Yeah. It puts the rest of the market in a bearish scenario.
Yeah.
So if this rejects off of this, and we start to push back down and below the 200, we can see two things happen. Probably a retest of this lower level, which it bounced off of, or it loses this level and we see it come down to 3.8 or anywhere really in this little zone.
And 3.8 looks pretty.
That ideally what we want to see is this lower level hit mixed with Bitcoin dominance dropping as well, which may take longer. So this will be the real alt season. Bitcoin dominance loses these levels and we're back down to this 55%.
Bitcoin dominance, and then USDT dominance also staying relatively low.
Correct. And then true alt season happens around like here. Around here in this area, this lower level. So there's still a lot of times to play out. So break below this, and we're talking about alts are running at this point if we're around this level. Because mind you, alts ran in 2024 when Bitcoin went from 60% all the way down to 55%. And then alts started to bleed once Bitcoin started to push back up. Well, Bitcoin dominance. Excuse me. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow.
You follow? And then lastly...
Yeah, let us know if you guys follow.
And then lastly would be just total market cap excluding Bitcoin. We also broke this downtrend. We're hitting the 100 EMA and the 50 SMA as a potential bounce zone, and we're below the 200. And it rejected at resistance. So what we want to see here is break above this again off this bounce, break above, ideally break this level as well, and put ourselves in a new range, which would be the 1.2 trillion to 1.7 trillion, give or take. And then that means money is entering the altcoin market heavy. Well, altcoins.
Yeah,
fun stuff. And then just like lastly, let me see if this is the one. This is the others, not the others. This is total 3, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. Broke the downtrend, tested this, and then ripped up, rejected off a very clear rejection point right here, all this. And now is retesting the top of these to flip it to support. So ideally what you want to see next, bounces off of this, breaks the potential downtrend that's here, and then rejects off of this, makes a higher high here, around here, tests this, and then continues the uptrend to potentially break into a new little range. Make sense?
Yep. Yeah, I follow.
So we're definitely not in a bad spot. We're just in a sensitive news spot where if the world around us settles down, everything goes well, we could continue to see a push up. If things get crazier, whatever I said goes out the window.
My experience of so far in life is the older I get, the crazier things get. And I just think that's a given at this point. But again, crazy would be expecting crazy and getting normal. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is true.
So hopefully, good news around the corners, and nothing too bad for the market pops up. It is summertime where I'm at, and summer is typically happy and active. So I would like to see the market pretty active and pretty happy.
Yeah. So where do you want to go to next?
What companies are doing? I just got a notification that Meta shareholders voted on a proposal for adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, which has been in the talks for a while. A lot of people voted. A lot of shareholders voted. What is this? Almost 5 million shareholders voted for like shares, right? Essentially, only 0.1% are in favor of adding Bitcoin to Meta's balance sheet, and 95% are opposed to adding Bitcoin to Meta's balance sheet.
Damn.
Oh, this is Meta. Oh yeah, Meta. Facebook, right?
Yep.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought Meta was a different company for a second. I was like,
you maybe thought MetaPlanet.
yeah, I think that might have been what it was. But that's not MetaPlanet's activity. Speaking of actually MetaPlanet, MetaPlanet shares have a 600% like convenience fee of sorts. No, it's not a convenience fee. There's a technical word that you probably could pull out of your head better than me right now. Premium. It's a 600% premium on their share price because of the fact that they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So people are willing to pay 600% more
for the stock
than buying it in Bitcoin directly. Like, basing off of like I think it's MNAV of the stock, how much Bitcoin a stock has, how much Bitcoin the company holds per share of stock, and MetaPlanet and Strategy are both doing the same thing where they're trying to increase the amount of Bitcoin per shares that they hold.
To add, so is 21 Capital.
21 Capital is also doing this.
And to add, they didn't say that that's their mission, but what's the name? GME GameStop also added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. They added $500 million.
Yeah, making them, I think they're like the 18th largest Bitcoin treasury company now.
Which Tad also dumped the price of GME like 12% that day when it was announced.
Dumped?
Yeah.
Damn, that would have been a good day to buy.
Well, GME.
Yeah, GME. Yeah, so essentially there's a lot of venture capitalists out there backing Bitcoin and altcoin treasury companies. Like, VCs are backing these companies such as Strategy, MetaPlanet, probably GME now, 21 Capital. Is 21 Capital or is it just 21?
I think it's just 21. Oh. But I called it Capital just because they are buying. They're in the capital markets, and that's what they're mainly doing, and creating software. But 21, I believe, is what they're called.
So some of these companies, definitely not GameStop, but like Strategy, MetaPlanet, these are companies that are adding Bitcoin primarily. So other companies are adding ETH, Solana, XRP, and other crypto assets. But these companies are adding cryptocurrencies to their reserves and kind of like using that in place of their original business model or an additional supplementary income to their business model. And it's actually getting a lot of not transactions, but like it's bringing in a lot of business essentially. So I said 600% for MetaPlanet. I was off. I'm sorry. MetaPlanet trades at 4.24 times of their Bitcoin holdings. So 424%. And the MNAV is essentially short for market cap divided by net asset value, with their net asset value being Bitcoin.
Correct.
So essentially what these companies are trying to figure out is it possible to own more Bitcoin just per share as time progresses by just buying stocks in these companies as opposed to buying spot Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a leverage play, essentially.
It definitely is a leverage play.
Yeah. So, like, for example, if someone were to buy Strategy and the MNAV or the NAV is 2x, and they could buy, like, let's say 0.5 Bitcoin. But if Strategy continues to grow per share by 50% annually, which last year they grew 74%, so a lot more, like, you had more Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a leverage
per
play
share
on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially you should have more Bitcoin later on just by owning those shares as opposed to buying it.
Mind you, it does defeat the purpose. If you're just trying to make the money or the returns and, like, don't care about the underlying asset, that's fine. But the point is to own the actual asset yourself.
There we go. This guy, he's crypto native through and through.
Right? The idea is for you to own it.
Yeah, not others.
Not others who can then do whatever they want.
You could
one
sell,
day they can all sell it.
Yeah, you could sell your share of Strategy stock, and yeah, you might earn more, like, dollar value, but you'll never own the Bitcoin because Strategy is never letting go of that Bitcoin.
Correct, Mundo.
Yeah, Bitcoin is a highly sought after asset right now.
Yeah, a little different to the ETS, where in the future we could see a time where you can not have to cash out the dollars, but cash out the actual Bitcoin you're holding within your ETFs.
Correct. Yeah, ETFs are different.
Hasn't happened
as
yet.
Opposed to these companies.
Oh yeah.
But, like, also some like investors are buying the stocks in these companies as opposed to buying Bitcoin directly because there's no laws legally allowing them to have
in other parts of the world
Bitcoin. Correct. Yeah. Specifically, this is happening a lot in Japan. The Japanese population is buying a lot of MetaPlanet.
MetaPlanet
and Strategy, but mostly MetaPlanet. Yeah. Because companies aren't legally allowed to hold Bitcoin. Like, certain type of investors are not allowed to hold Bitcoin. And there's also a big economic thing, like macroeconomic plays that's happening in Japan, where their dollar is officially
currency.
Yeah, their currency, correct, the yen, is actually losing value over time because they've increased interest rates in Japan. And to avoid that, people are buying Bitcoin.
Correct. You got a little confused. It's because interest rates have been so low, not because they're increasing rates. Well,
no, interest rates have been low over time, but they're increasing rates now, and that's the issue.
Yeah, I'm not arguing
Japan.
that.
Oh.
What I'm saying is the reason they devalued their currency is because interest rates are low, not because rates are high.
Oh, okay. I might have said that.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, essentially, Japan historically has had interest rates as close to what most people consider like zero. It's practically 0%. But
I
now
think they've had it at
raising their
zero,
interest
actually.
They might have had it at zero. That might actually be accurate. But that's recently changed. So to move away from the high interest rates, people are buying Bitcoin and MetaPlanet.
To move away from the value of the currency, they're moving to MetaPlanet.
Mm-hmm.
You said interest rates. To move away from interest rates.
Oh, okay. But essentially, yeah, companies are buying more Bitcoin. More companies are adding it to their reserves. However, Meta is not one of them.
Correct. Strategy.
My theory with the Meta thing is that the board members, the people on the board, know how big Meta is and know that if they start buying Bitcoin on their reserves, it's going to be a big event, and that will not allow the board members any more time to buy Bitcoin for relatively cheaper prices on their own personal accounts, as opposed to the company and the rest of the world doing it through one of the biggest companies in the world. Because they did put out at some point, I think it was like last year, an advisory to their shareholders saying that this is not a great idea, which is absolutely not true. It is a great idea.
Not disagreeing with you. I just don't think
But that's a tinfoil hat.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I just don't think the numbers represent what you're saying 100% because of the how like small the percentage of people that did vote for it are.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, there's likely a lot of people who do own like a good percentage of stock and shares that they will just vote no. A lot of these people are also likely boomers that just don't want to put their money into a riskier asset. Like there's genuine people who did put this vote because they just don't like Bitcoin in general.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that there was an announcement by the shareholders, by the board members, saying don't do that. Don't vote yes. It's not a good idea.
100%. No.
And I'm just speculating as to why I think they would say something like that. Because if you're a board member of Microsoft, like you're in the know
of Meta.
You're deep in the know of Meta. You're right, not Microsoft. Meta. I think that's what I confused Meta for. Microsoft.
Maybe because I think they also had it on the vote, or they had something about it.
They're also really big. I might be getting that confused now that I think about it. It might have been Microsoft that put out that advisory. Either way, it applies to both, to whichever one did it.
That's a good way to save your ass.
It applies to whichever one did it.
Fair enough.
It's actually the price of the crypto market is going up significantly enough to the point where violent crimes are taking place. Yeah. On CEOs and their family members and loved ones. In France, I think it was.
Okay, because I heard of one in New York where the guy was kidnapped and tortured for 2 weeks or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I also know about the one in France where they tried to kidnap this dude. They tried, or
so they tried to attack the daughter, husband, and grandson of the CEO of Paymium, Pierre Noisat. Mm-hmm. Essentially, there's 4 armed men, broad daylight, who were going to attack these people, but some bystanders did the right thing and felt that they had the responsibility of like, oh, let's help out and stop this act of violence. Honestly, good for them. I'm glad they did that. Peace, love, and prosperity to them. But and essentially, the victims' light injuries were they went to the hospital just to get treated, but they should be okay. And there has been similar attacks in the UK and in the United States, like you mentioned, New York.
Yeah. Which, if you are like a CEO of these, like one of these, like a big, decent sized corporation or company, you should already have like some sort of detail, like security.
Well, this wasn't for him. So the CEO wasn't attacked. Pierre Nozat was not attacked. It was the daughter, husband, and grandson.
His daughter, her husband, his grandson. They would have security.
Mm-hmm. They should. Probably.
You don't think Elon has security on his family?
His kids? Yeah.
I use Elon as an example. But also, like, I assume at these levels you would have security for your...
Yeah, also, yeah, true. I mean, we got that one influencer kid that's got security.
What influencer?
And that guy, I don't know. You think I know his name?
Jack Dorsey? No,
maybe.
that's that's an influencer kid. I'm pretty sure of.
Jack Dorsey is not an
No,
influencer
I'm getting
kid.
confused. I know Jack Dorsey's the creator of Twitter, and now he runs another crypto. But it's some
Block.
dude that has like a name like Jack something.
Yeah, I think you're right on that because you said Jack and that sounded right, but then I was like Dorsey. I was like, that's not
It's
accurate.
something with a D, I think. Whatever, irrelevant. I'm sorry, Jack Dorsey, for
some
to
random.
comparing you to that.
Yeah.
thing.
Apologize then because that's
That's disrespectful. I agree. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. I apologize.
But like, yeah, essentially, as of right now, there have been 29 reports of violent attacks, specifically targeting people who are crypto wealthy, since the start of this year. So we're halfway through the year, and we have 29 reports of violent attacks on crypto wealthy individuals. Now, do you know how many violent attacks there were recorded in the year 2024 for crypto wealthy individuals?
100.
Nope, not even close.
Up or down?
No, down.
12.
34.
Okay.
So, in the entire year, there was 34 violent attacks, and in the first 6 months, we got 29. So we're like pretty much on pace
To double it.
to going up. Exactly. Essentially saying that crime on crypto wealthy individuals, violent crime on crypto wealthy individuals, can be seen as on the rise.
Well, also, in the eyes of the masses, they look at crypto wealthy people as like scumbags for the most part. To a certain level, like the
A
regular
fair
folk,
amount of them are.
regular folk.
A fair amount of them are, but not all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. If you look at a guy like a scumbag, why are the cops gonna help this guy more? If, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not saying that there's like a justice thing that's an issue here. What I'm saying is
since people don't care, since the masses don't care, it won't press eyes to it to like try to avoid it, to make a way to avoid it more. If that made any sense.
So I kind of get where you're coming from, because like if you're a scumbag, a criminal who's stealing, like, and you get socked in the face for stealing a bunch of Bitcoin, and you're talking too much crap about how much Bitcoin you have, then you're kind of asking for it, right? But I get in the other scheme of things, is like these aren't necessarily.
No, I'm not
like
saying they
this is
are. I'm not
a
saying
CEO of a company.
These victims are scumbags.
So,
by the way.
in that sense, like this victim is just a victim, like
100%.
literally of violent crime.
Okay, so apart, like, better words of like, because you brought scumbag, and I didn't even necessarily mean scumbag. I mean more so like wealthy crypto people are looked at from like the eyes of the masses, like, lucky you didn't do anything to make money, you just like bought with at like a cent, and it's now worth your portfolio is now worth $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're like, you didn't do anything to make money, you just got lucky. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but still, even then, like, I don't know, I might just be an optimist and
You're a little
big-hearted.
optimistic.
I would think that, like, who would want to wish crime on someone who just got lucky? Like, if they had just gotten lucky, you still don't want, like, to wish harm upon that person.
There are 7
like,
billion people in the world. Almost, I think 8 billion.
No, there's gonna be.
There's 8 billion people in the world. A lot of people are in dire situations
are spiteful.
where
Yeah.
they look at them like, yo, I've done XYZ. Why do you get that over me? There are a lot of people like that.
I get that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
I think that's the vast majority, though.
Oh.
I'm saying everyone's, to a degree, everyone has a threshold of where, like, oh, damn, you're doing better than me. Why are you doing better than me?
Yeah,
Alex
it's
Ramosi
possible.
says this. He goes, everyone cheers for you once you start your dreams. Once you achieve them, they all are like want your downfall. I didn't quote that, by the way. It's
Loosely quoting.
loosely quoting.
Yeah.
But on not so sad news, it's the Bitcoin conference as well. And it just happened in Vegas.
Just happened. Yep.
To tie into what we just talked about Bitcoin price coming down. Did you know that the Bitcoin price typically always comes down during and after the conference for a bit? It never goes up. It always pulls back.
It always pulls back.
It always pulls back. Never pulls up. Never goes up.
I'm probably not currently actively aware of that, but I probably was back in 2021 when I was at the conference, and where I was probably looking at the price after El Salvador made that announcement. I was like,
and sunk like a ship.
I was like, what's going on? Why is it not going? Why is it not bumping?
So the reason I bring that up is because Michael Saylor was asked a question during, I think, a Q&A session, I think, at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asked, why doesn't Strategy have a proof of reserve for their Bitcoin?
Ah, yes.
And
that was a very, very big question that was asked.
And very controversial for many people. And his main point was, it's an attack vector. If you tell people where they are, well, more so you tell people where they are, it's an attack vector for those wallets, and just not a good idea to have out there. He essentially said you should have like the big four, like one of the big four audit firms, audit the Bitcoin and just publicize in a report saying this is how many Bitcoins are being held by the company, verifying that the amount, but not the wallet itself.
Yeah, that's controversial ass statement for sure.
And he said that we need to create a software, a thing that can show you how much Bitcoin you have without showing the wallet in and of itself, without putting that.
He wants more privacy.
He wants more privacy.
Zero knowledge. He wants zero knowledge proof.
That's exactly what he said. He goes, there has
is it?
Yes. He said there has to be a way that you can have a zero knowledge proof, a ZK, one of those attached to it to be able to do that safely, removing the attack vector.
Yeah, so zero knowledge proof is essentially like, I could prove you something without necessarily showing you all the information or anything besides what you're trying to look for.
Correct.
An example would be like when you show someone your ID for, like, let's say entry to a place or for being able to purchase
a place
something.
That you have to be 18 and over to get in.
Correct. What's the age restriction? They're essentially looking for your age to verify that, but your ID has so much more information than just your age. So there's a lot of knowledge that's gained by someone looking at your ID. A ZK proof essentially would be like, let's say it's a blank ID, and when someone looks at it, all it would say is 18 plus. Or 18 plus, not even necessarily the age.
True.
Which means like, this person is old enough to get in there. I don't even know how old they are, but they're old enough to get in here.
Correct.
Or to buy this product. That's what ZK is, zero knowledge.
So Saylor got a lot of backlash for saying he's not going to put any proof of reserves for that one reason.
Yeah, I can see why there's backlash for that.
So, but before I get your point on that, the CEO of 21, Jack Millers, I believe, announced that they are going to have proof of reserve and that they're going to have 5 specific wallets holding an X amount of token each one, and it's all like going to be labeled from where those funds came from, like which part of the investors, where they got the funding, and whatever. For those 5. And that he goes, it's a very crucial thing to have your proof of reserves because the whole rule in crypto is do not trust but verify that this is what we hold. He goes, this is gonna add a layer of transparency to those who are investing with us, that we do hold the Bitcoin we say we hold.
Yeah.
So before we go to the next thing I want to talk about, what do you think? Proof of reserve, no proof of reserve? Does Saylor have a point? Does he not have a point?
I could kind of see his concern with a proof of reserve. It's like, you're providing information saying you're publicly posting a public wallet address and the amount of Bitcoin that is there, and then who owns the wallet strategy, right? However, there is no information tying it to the private key. So in reality, all you really need is, because let's say he does get this auditor, this one of these big four companies to get an audit of their reserves and saying, oh yeah, they have X amount of Bitcoin. That still is effectively similar to posting your wallet address with how much Bitcoin you have.
But the wallet,
you just said,
I think his idea there that the address itself isn't out there to the public.
Yeah, but that's not accurate either, because it is out there to the public. It has to be found one way or another. You could literally get a database from the Bitcoin nodes. You set up your own node, scrape it to see which wallet addresses have received transactions, and summing more than X amount, and be like, okay, yeah, cool, this belongs to MicroStrategy because they obviously have that much Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's a little bit more complicated.
It already happened.
It also doesn't.
Arkham already found the wallet.
Exactly.
Like literally the day after that. I think I have the post somewhere here. But it basically said that Arkham was able to tie a specific wallet to strategy because of the transaction that they were doing. Like it was matching the amount of Bitcoin Saylor was buying when he was buying and transferring.
Which is my point. Exactly. It's like, if you're having someone audit you and saying that and then publicly posting how much Bitcoin you have, it's essentially the same thing as doxing yourself, because someone will find, or doxing that wallet per se, but it doesn't matter if someone has your public key. All that means is they could send you more Bitcoin if they wanted to. Likely not going to happen, but they could send you more Bitcoin. What they need is a private key. And this is where I think the concern that Saylor is kind of addressing is like, oh, if they have the public key and how much money it is, all they need to do is, and I say all, but it's not easy, is exfiltrate some data from some secure server, hopefully, or like however they're storing their data, in terms of finding the private keys, if they're even stored digitally. So which I don't know what the protocols that strategy follows are, but
giving you pushback on there, that's the hard way around. I think the easier way forward would be just sending some sort of malicious contract or token to Saylor. Oh, well, not to Saylor, but to that wallet specifically, that can cause you to make a mistake and potentially like having your account drained, which we do know this happens.
In smart contract enabled blockchains.
Correct. But not necessarily.
Not Bitcoin.
But even if Bitcoin is just Bitcoin, you can send a token with it. I mean, I guess what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but I'm guessing there is a way to like send some sort of malicious attack to that wallet.
Maybe I'd have to do some research and actually look to see if an attack like that exists, and if it's even possible.
Fair enough.
But it is possible in smart contracts enabled blockchains. I'm not aware of it existing in Bitcoin.
Fair enough. Because we've heard this happen on other not exchanges, but other chains.
Wallets chains. Yeah. Where a malicious like token, non-fungible token, whatever, something gets sent to your wallet address, but the way that the smart contracts are written, there's some vulnerability, and it can reroute your sending address before you press send, and it gets published.
That's one. But the other one is like they send like a mass amount of tokens, or whatever tokens they are, right? Some random tokens. And that token, if you send it out, it triggers the smart contract to like, oh, we can take the other token, like the
there's a variety of attacks, but I just don't think those attacks apply in Bitcoin.
Maybe not. I'm not saying it. I'm saying I'm
just not aware of them. So I will look into that now at some point. But yeah, I just think it's a little. I'm not aware of anything that makes sailors' concerns reasonable.
Fair enough. And I think he said something else that was apart from just attack vectors for his reasonings for it. I just don't remember at this point in time.
Anyways, the guy should have unless and this is something that I did start drafting up, like a scope of work type thing for either like MFA multi-sig wallet or time locked wallets, because the Bitcoin Core code base does have functions for setting up wallets with those functionality. However, I don't think that process that gets processed like a smart contract where it introduces major vulnerabilities.
Could be. I don't know.
Again, I'm not a developer. I just have to do some research and actually study it to understand it. Because I have not reached that level of technical experience yet, but I'm getting there.
Fair. Alrighty. Do you want me to hit you with another one? Because we didn't even talk about what you had before, so you want me to hit you with another thing that was said during the Bitcoin conference or during what was happening?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this one?
Maybe not, but I'll do my best.
Okay. So Peter Schiff said this on stage, but then he tweeted this on May 28th. So this is the tweet. Many Bitcoiners on X accuse me of causing a lot of people to lose money because I didn't recommend that they buy Bitcoin. Well, based on what I've been told by countless attendees at the Bitcoin 2025, I'm likely responsible for more people owning Bitcoin than any other individual. Wait, someone tweeted below responding, goes, yeah, but your clients, the ones closer to you cost them. Peter Schiff, many of them bought too. I've run into a few here. So what do you think of the fact that Peter Schiff is saying that he is the sole reason there are so many Bitcoiners out there?
That's funny. That is hilarious. The guy is standing on his pride, on his tall horse, very, very comfortably. Yeah. Hey, I don't even know what to say. I just think that's hilarious. To say that he's probably the individual who's caused the most people to sign up and get Bitcoin is kind of crazy. I don't even know who I would be able to attribute that to.
I think he's right.
He's definitely up there. I'm not gonna say he's not up there.
I'm not saying,
but
okay, so number one is hard to say.
He's on his high horse because he's saying he's number one.
Fair enough, but I think he might be onto something there.
No, he's definitely onto something. He's not like unbased either. Like the guy's pretty based on that statement, just on the high horse of it. Because Sailor's done a lot, obviously. And I would also say that Trump has done a lot to get people on, seeing how pro-crypto president.
I think Peter Schiff might be number one, though.
And then we could also add the factor that we don't know if Satoshi Nakamoto is one person or multiple people, because the guy made it. Like, it's kind of his.
But this is a thing.
But is Satoshi even one person? We don't know.
But it's irrelevant.
So in that case,
assume Satoshi is one and is the group for this example. Like, he could be either or, and they count as the most, whether it's one person or a group of people. Peter Schiff could still. I mean, this is an arbitrary number because there's no way you can't.
We also got Jack Dorsey.
Yes.
And we also.
But I'm saying you can't prove this is number one, or if you can't prove a number one here, or for who's.
There's no yeah, correct.
But to validate what he's saying, though, I think he would be the person who would cause the most amount of people to buy Bitcoin, because he's also the most amount of he's also the person who speaks most on
against it,
but not even that. That breaks down the reason you should buy gold.
Mm-hmm.
well, the minute he makes a to people who understand and do like Bitcoin and are open minded to it, the minute you make the claim that you should own gold, you immediately go, but why don't I own Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, why is it better than Bitcoin?
If it,
Gold,
in particular, yeah, or rare metals, everyone looks at it and goes, oh, but Bitcoin does that, and gold does this, and this one's superior to gold. Like Bitcoin's superior to gold in certain ways. Majority, all of them really, but
so
the physicality of it.
That actually kind of reminds me of a post that I just read on Reddit last night, where it's a newbie to the Bitcoin crypto market, and he asks the community, he's like, hey, for anybody who's done it, what was the deciding factor for you to sell all of the stocks and shares that you hold to buy Bitcoin? Like, what was your logical reasoning for that?
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, people were pretty consistent with their answer also. So like, it was pretty like even across the board, saying it reduces counterparty risk. As in, there's a lot less risk associated to buying Bitcoin as opposed to buying stocks, because stocks are susceptible to a variety of things that a commodity, no, not commodity.
That Bitcoin isn't?
Yeah. Wait, yeah. What's the other one? It's commodity versus
Securities?
Securities. No, securities and commodities. Yeah. So essentially, Bitcoin does not have to face like possible legal issues, regulatory issues, liquidate stocks being added to the amount of shares for the company. There's like different things that Bitcoin is not susceptible to.
Mm-hmm.
The stocks are, like, let's say, I don't know, CEO drama. Like, it's just the CEO gets caught up in something scandalous and the stock price tanks. Or tariffs of some sort will affect the stock for certain companies. But Bitcoin doesn't face any of those.
But it does affect
risk.
it. The macro market does affect Bitcoin.
The macro market does get affected by certain things, but it doesn't face those micro issues that a lot of stocks have, like litigation. Who's suing Bitcoin?
No, I'm not disagreeing.
Why?
With
because
that.
you can't sue Bitcoin. What regulations does Bitcoin have to follow? None. So
yeah, you
can't break regulations.
You can't individually attack Bitcoin as you can a company.
There's a lot less risk associated to owning Bitcoin as opposed to owning stocks in a company, is what everyone answered on this reply.
The majority.
Like, it was a consistent thing. It was like less risk. And then because the person posted the question also did mention, it's like, I understand the return on investment aspect,
Mm-hmm.
where S&P 500 might gain 7% annually over 30 years. But if inflation is 4% per year, then you're only getting 3%, and Bitcoin has done way more than that.
Yeah.
But then that's also assuming that inflation is only 4%, when as of late it's not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, everyone consistently replying to this was like, it is safer to buy Bitcoin than it is to buy a stock. It is less headache, less overhead. And this is why, because this is a statement that I agree with also. I think Bitcoin's really the most risk-off asset there is, as opposed to most assets out there. Granted, you might need some risks for certain objectives. Like, if you want to own the home that you live in, you're going to be subject to property insurance, property taxes, and all this other stuff that comes with owning a property.
I do agree that Bitcoin is one of the most risk off, but I think you have to say that with the fact of in a 30-year period, it's basically risk off. In a 3-year period, there is risk.
Yeah, in a 3-year period, there is risk for sure. I'm at the point where I would say risk off after 4 years. If you could manage to hold Bitcoin for 4 years, you're in the green. pretty consistently.
I will agree
like,
with you. If
always.
You could, yeah.
That's always happened.
Bitcoin's risk off after a 4-year period.
Do you have that website available with the very cool charts?
Yeah.
Do you find the cycle chart, circle time chart?
I can see they have it.
I'm pretty sure they do. So essentially, we've shown this chart before. This chart shows it's a spiral where the spiral kind of indicates time. So like a clock. So 12 o'clock is halvening, and then 1 year from halvening, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? And then the price of the chart is based off of like a bullet, not bullet, a dartboard. Like there's radiuses, and each radius is like $1,000, 10,000, 50, 100,000. So essentially, as this chart progresses, around the clock, you see that the price constantly goes up, and never has it crossed a line under that was essentially 4 years ago. And then also, if you could find the rainbow chart.
I have the rainbow chart. I don't have the circle chart yet.
Okay. Pull up the rainbow chart, if you can, and then we could talk about the rainbow chart just to see how prices Bitcoin right now. If it's expensive, cheap.
No, right now it's moderate.
Yeah. You want to share it?
Yeah. This is the chart.
Yeah. Rainbow chart. So, this just uses like a logarithmic algorithm.
Dude, the yellow bean there is such a bad color.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Like, they need that line to be a different color. Because I lose it here.
Or what they need is the white line to be black.
Yeah.
I think that's what they need. And you can zoom in?
Not really.
I mean,
But
you're zooming
right around here.
out.
Huh?
You're zooming out a lot.
No, I'm zooming in. This is in. This is out.
Oh, that's in.
This is out. This is out.
That's out. Yeah, that's out. That's out.
But it's right around there.
Yeah, it's right in the middle. HODL territory.
Yeah. Let's hold it. And mind you, in this cycle, we haven't gone to the red yet, or the orange. Not even light orange.
It says HODL between 99 and 130,000. 83,000 and 110,000.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so you can like zoom in. It's a struggle. I think you gotta do it at the bottom. So you see that chart thing at the bottom? That. No. Essentially, you gotta pull it up to that where the line stops, because everything past that line is no. You gotta bring it. Yeah. But yeah.
What do you want? Tell me what you want.
No, you're good. That's pretty much what you gotta do. Just move the left one to the right also. And then do you see the end of the white line?
There. That's today.
Yeah. So
between 98,000 and 130 HODL.
Yep. It says hold. Don't buy between 98,000.
Yeah.
So anything below 98,000 is a good time to buy.
Pretty much. And we're not even the orange like we were in the other cycle. Last cycle, we got to right below. Right, we got into sell seriously. So I will keep on looking for that chart you want.
Bitbo charts. Bitcoin halving spiral. Let's see if this loads. If not, what I could possibly do is send you a link in the chat.
Oh, you want me to open it?
Well, yeah, because it's either the website's not working or my internet's not great. And we already know what my history of internet is. So I just sent you the link for the site because it's just straight up not loading for me. Is this guy texting right now?
Yes.
Is this guy seriously texting right now?
You send me a link?
I apologize. I told you to send you the link. I apologize for him being rude.
His rudeness.
Yeah, my phone's blowing up right now, and I'm not looking at it.
Your phone's not blowing up.
I'm actually fighting. My dude, I got a few messages. 3
What's
from
a
one
few?
chat, 6 from that chat, and
A chat doesn't count because that means they're not towards you.
they're not directly towards me, but I'm in the chat. It might be relevant towards me.
All right, I got it.
Let's go.
It doesn't fit on my screen, but I have it.
Oh, it doesn't fit on the screen.
No, I'll figure it out now. Let me just pull up the video so I can share it.
Did you say build the video? Oh yeah, big chart.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, the line moves clockwise, essentially, and every time it moves around the clock, it's been 210,000 blocks, I believe. Scroll up, William. All the way up. I need to see the 12 o'clock. Happening. 157,000 blocks. So yeah, 210,000 blocks. Every time that it goes through the entire circle. And if you look at this circle, it has never passed under the line. It did get close recently, apparently.
Yeah, it got close
but
when we were at
even then-
74,000.
Yeah, which we did talk about back then. I think that was like November.
I think so.
So if you've held Bitcoin for 4 years, you're in the green. Given. Like, absolutely. Because as you see, so the dot starts at 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then 1 million is the outer circle. So it's like a dartboard. And the further out in the dartboard it is, the higher the price is. Never has it crossed below the previous line.
I want to also add, this one's close here, but this is also when Bitcoin was peak.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Yeah. So like, yeah, if you look at the gap between that line that you're on and the line before it inside, it's a huge gap.
Yeah.
That's a huge gap in 4 years.
Also, mind you, the lines, as you can clearly tell, do get closer to each other, just in general, from like the spiral. Where
Well,
it
yeah,
starts.
because the scale changes also. So like, you see how it's not that's necessary that the scale changes. It's just the amount of
the increments
like,
in between
value
them starts to
within
decrease.
starts to increase.
Decrease. We're making smaller jumps, not
one
as
of-
big.
We are making smaller jumps. No, we could be making bigger jumps, but like the actual amount that it has to go. So like, let's say the space from 10,000 to 100,000 is equal to the space from 100,000 to 1 million. But we're not going to get to 1 million this cycle, for example.
Yeah, but what I mean is, but looking at the circle, the part of the reason why like this price to this price is so like this gap is here because price never went around it. What I'm saying is the price is now gonna not make these big hurdles of differences.
Yeah, that's true. The prices are gonna get smaller.
Exactly.
The circles are gonna get tighter as time progresses.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, the circle is gonna get tighter as time progresses.
Because this is when we were,
which would be equal to what a lot of boomers like in their advancements because they're older and are have less of an appetite towards risk. So there'll be more market stability. This is a good thing. This is what you would want to see.
Right here. Here's a 79,000. Like this is when we went down around here. This little area here, where we got to like 74,000. We are currently there, already going down from our all-time high at 60.
Yeah.
Around here.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it here that we got to 60? Oh no, it's here. So we already this was probably our first wave up, our first all-time high, and then this was our second before coming down.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. This one doesn't show the peak price for that cycle, because there are some that I've seen where like it will show you the peak price.
Mm-hmm.
It would like just have like a little indicator there, but that's fine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps up most of what I've got or wanted to talk about this week. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, so this happened, and I just want to throw this out there because I thought that was interesting. So Trump has a leak in his team somewhere, mandatory.
Okay.
Because the day before what I'm about to say happened, this announcement happened the day before. Like it was said the day before.
I'm sorry.
The announcement
say
occurred.
That one more time.
The announcement occurred on Wednesday. The day before, it was said that it was going to happen, and then denied by Trump that it was going to happen, or like by his team that it was going to happen.
Oh, okay.
So Truth Social, from Trump, official email, 2.5 billion raised from institutional investors to buy Bitcoin as a reserve asset for DJT, for Donald Trump, for the media company.
Mm-hmm.
When this was announced officially on May 27th, but the day before the announcement was already like pre-release saying they're going to buy like $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. And then immediately afterwards was denied. Yeah.
And then the next day they said,
released.
yeah, we're buying a bunch of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously leaked. Yeah, that's.
I'm saying like he's had a couple leaks from his team.
Now the question is why? Is this someone trying to do malintent, or is this purposeful leaks left by the administration or his team, whatever it is?
It's a little
to get
weird.
the pot stirring.
Trump's a little weird right now with his shenanigans. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't been too
I haven't been keeping up.
All I know is current political stuff. No, I've not been keeping up with it right now.
The latest one was they're calling it Trump's Taco.
Trump's Taco.
Yeah. It's about the tariffs. It's
okay.
Trump always chickens out.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like they went apparently this happened like in the same day. Trump says tariffs, right? The tariffs are happening. A court comes in and goes, we're blocking all the tariffs. This is not allowed, blah, blah, blah. An appeals court, like a day later, goes, no, this is allowed. Trump's tariffs are back on.
Yeah.
It's a shit.
So it's not even just like a him thing. It's what you're saying. It's a systematic thing.
Oh no! Well, the reason they're calling
stops goes.
No, the reason for the
goes.
taco is because he goes, we're going to impose these tariffs on these countries. But every time we go to impose them, he goes, never mind, we've reached the deal. We no longer have to impose these crazy tariffs we've talked about. Even with it happened with China as well.
Would you say that's chickening out? Is that not negotiating?
Well, with China,
I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just like listening. It sounds to me like negotiation.
So I think it's really stemming from the China ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time, like when the tariffs first happened, we're like, oh, everyone's getting tariffs. Then never mind, 90-day pause. Oh, never mind, we're pushing back on some of these.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't know if it's a negotiation or not. I know it's a mess. I know it's not looking pretty. It's not being handled well.
That is an issue for investors, that they want stability in the market, and this uncertainty is not good for long-term investors. That I can attest to.
I'm saying
so even if it is even if it is a negotiation tactic, like, it's still causing fear and panic.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like,
and uncertainty. Fear, panic, uncertainty.
It's a mess.
FUD.
FUD.
It's causing a whole lot of FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
I'm with you. So before we wrap up, Bitcoin is exactly where we left off. $104,354. Has not moved since we started.
Has not moved since we started. The podcast?
Huh?
The episode? The episode?
What?
Since we started what? The episode?
Oh, the episode.
Yeah, okay. Well, that being said, if you made it this far, please drop us a like.
Subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button.
Follow. Notification bell.
Tag a friend. Send a friend.
Tag
Be
all
like, yo,
the
look at
friends.
these idiots. Ha ha ha. Be like, listen to these dumbasses. Nah, I'm sorry. I think we did pretty good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for tuning in.
We are here as often as possible, typically on the weekly basis, but the last 2 weeks have been a different story.
It's been a mess.
Thank you for stopping by. It's been another week.
Of your favorite crypto podcast.
Sometimes crypto.
The Unscripted.
Crypto podcast.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.